Thank you, Joseph and David, for allowing me to be here at the Ontario Civil Liberties Association meeting. And thank you to our esteemed guests for being here. I'm going to try and pack 30 years into 10 minutes. That's going to be kind of fun. A few definitions. Civil, relating to a government or a province, not foreign. Liberty states a condition of one who is free and privileged. And now for something completely different. It's 3 a.m. in the morning, you wake up. Do you know what sex you are? Or have you had a bad dream? The last time I was on a stage was this spring. I had the opportunity to go to New York City. I went to United Nations Human Rights Conference. I was the only Canadian transgender delegate and speaker at a gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender working conference. It was an awesome feeling. Just being there and being a Canadian, talking about human rights that we have here in Canada was an awesome, awesome feeling. I listened to the world speakers about what their countries were doing and how they deal with human rights. Some of these countries are very, very barbaric. Over my years, almost 70 years, I know I don't like that old, but I've come to the conclusion, this thing's not working. There we go. I've come to the conclusion that the world is run by people who show up. The laws are changed by the people who have the money. History is changed by the people who win. Unions control our atmosphere and our economic place in the workplace. And here in Canada, if you want to change heritage or rewrite heritage, you can. And then there's the people who want everything to be free and they can get it. Just a little bit of bio about who I am. I was born in 1944 at the Ottawa City Hospital, and the doctor placed an M on the legal document. That was wonderful. That was in 1944, so I didn't even have human rights back then. The letter M was placed on that document. And for the rest of my life, I have to live under that letter M. As I outlined in the poster, of course I didn't put my picture on there because people got to run away. I outlined that I'm a transgender educator, activist, and human rights person who wants to fight for transgender human rights. My real name is Joanne Law, and I live in the Ottawa Hall area. And I'm on hormones to alter my body. I identify as a female for the last 30 years of my life. And the system is still against me. Here's the kicker. Because of federal and provincial laws and the territorial laws, my identification is male. And I cannot change that unless there is legislation to modify the statutes of the Human Rights Act. Each province or territory has their own Human Rights Act, but federally is another place, and its territory and its federal laws are different, and their human rights laws are different. I have an M on my passport, I have an M on driver's license, and I have an M on my health card. That's really wonderful when you're crossing over the border or trying to talk to a police officer, or even better, at a hospital. Some provinces and legislatures have already included human rights for transgender people. Toby's Act here in Ontario, Bill C-33. I helped build that act that went into Parliament, Ontario. All the different provincial legislatures voted for it. Now the federal Parliament has Bill C-279. It's now in the Senate, in for its third reading, and I hope it gets better. I don't want to get rid of the Senate until the bill goes through. to give transgender people like myself human rights. Honourable Member, I hope that when the bill went to Parliament last fall, that you did vote for Bill C-279 to give myself, a transgender person, a Canadian, all other human rights that Canadians have got. FYI, I was sitting in the gallery the night of that vote in the House of Commons. It was awesome, awesome, awesome. I use the word awesome a lot. It was for the third reading. Wow, it was really neat. Still today, Canadians and transgender people are being fired for who they are. Is this social justice or someone just playing with their system? Suicide, rejection, social injustice, depression are just some of the issues that transgender people live. Although it is getting better because there are more people standing up like myself and being counted, and society's image is changing. Am I that 1% or the 85%? I don't know. I lost, I won, I lost, I won, I lost, I won. Life goes on. Right now I'm winning for the time being. One's own sense of being male or female should be something we take for granted. We don't even think about it. But what happens when the signals get messed up? What happens if the male and female brain go into hardwire, softwire issues? What happens if our senses don't match? All hell breaks loose. I was fired from my job 30 years ago because my employer did not want my kind in their employment. I took my employer to court. Guess who won? Well, first guess, the lawyers won. Their lawyers had a bigger lawyer than my lawyer. I mean, I lost everything. I lost financial security. I lost my self-esteem. I lost energy. Just for your information, I'm a mechanical engineer. So I did something good back then. Years ago, we built bridges and buildings using a Texas Instrument calculator and a slide rule. Does anybody know what a slide rule is? Oh, not bad. After I was fired, I lived on welfare and soup kitchens for 10 years. That was really fun. I was overqualified and probably didn't fit in what society's norms was all about. Society has this vision that people like myself, who are transgender, are different and need to be cured by the DSM-5. Does anybody know what the DSM is? Not bad. For those who like, the Diagnostic Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders. I'm still in there, folks. Again, someone playing with the controls of who we are. I have been called a pedophile in the House of Commons. You can do that on the Hill, whether you know it or not. And I could not judge a person with hate speech. I've been called a sick, degenerate, gender dysphoric individual. I should not be using the women's washrooms because I'm attracting little boys and girls. Isn't that wonderful? Religion, politics, social conditioning, lack of good information, and human rights tribunals are challenging us every day. The legal system and the corrections institution abuse us in every way they can. I guess my activism started back in when I got released from my vocation. I got involved with the police department, not in a bad way. I walked in the front door. I got involved with the Ottawa Police Liaison Committee. It was called the Gay and Lesbian Community back then. A group of people coming together to try to work with the police, the gay and lesbian community, working with the Ottawa Police Service. That was in '93. It's now called the Gay, Lesbian, Bisexual, and Transgender Working Liaison Committee. And the people who care, and I do still sit at that table. It's almost over 20 years. I lost everything, so what else can I lose? I wasn't going to the cops to do it. Now the police know about me and my community. Now I have the privilege of going to Algonquin College and lecturing to the Ottawa Police Service new recruits. It's awesome again, it's just being there and being who I am and what I am. That's Algonquin College, a school that I graduated from back in '83. Do your calculations. Being broke and growing older, my income is still below the poverty level. $14,000 annually is what I get from my government. I'm supposed to live on that, folks. And believe it or not, I'm taxed on that income. $14,000 and they're still taxing me. But no matter what government gets in, it's still going to be the same issue. That money allows me to pay my rent and maybe buy the food that I can afford. But no matter what government gets in, it's still going to be the same income that we get. One thing I did do is that when I got on my soapbox, I started to challenge the system. I got involved. I got involved after preaching what I practice. I got involved with the hospitals, I got involved with crisis centers, I got involved with drop-in centers, help support centers. I sat in the boardroom with the police, or the doctors and the nurses, talking about transgender issues, some of the issues that we face every day. And I've been documented on national TV, and I've been written up in national newspapers. Even had my own radio program for 5 years. Voices from Joanne's Closet. Why not use those words? Here's another thing that you probably don't know. Because I have an M on my passport and I identify as female, I am not allowed to fly out of any Canadian airport. What? Aeronautical Act 51, 52, and 53. I'm not allowed to fly, so I drive, okay? But it's the idea that this bill is still there. And when Bill C-279 gets through Parliament, maybe it will be cleared. Although, I do have my tranquility base. I sit on my balcony at 6 o'clock in the morning, it's getting a bit cool now, and I have my first cup of instant coffee, watching the sunrise and watching the birds in the sky. Last year I got involved with an organization in Vanier called Ottawa Freedom Centre. We're a group of volunteers. I went in as a volunteer, now I'm acting chair. We're a not-for-profit organization, and we provide a safe drop-in for people dealing with life's social issues. Our pamphlets and my business cards are in the back of the lobby or in the foyer of the theater. If you can, pick up a pamphlet and please maybe write a check to Ottawa Freedom Centre to help us keep the doors open, because we are a not-for-profit and we are paying out of our own pocket to keep those doors open. It's almost a year now, and it's getting expensive. But I believe in what the Ottawa Freedom Centre is doing. The DSM states that I'm gender dysphoric. Not really. I'm gender enhanced. And for those Trekkies, I identify as a female life form carbon-based unit. You know what I'm talking about. Again, in closing, thank you very much for being here. Thank you, David, and brain just, when you get old, your brain just goes. Thank you, David, for allowing me to be here. Thank you for the panel, and hope all is well. And I'll be around for discussion and closing remarks. Thank you.